Follow along with us on our day as we explore the Devil Anse Trail system of the Hatfield McCoy Trails and its ATV-friendly town, Matewan, West Virginia, and everything it has to offer. We did so many fun activities and saw so many cool things today. I cannot wait to share with you guys. So follow along for the video. We started off our day at the Trailhead here in Matewan, West Virginia for the Devil Anse system. We did end up trailering just for convenience from our Airbnb just because it was a lot easier and faster for us. We ended up hitting up the little shop there, getting some shirts, checking out all the gear, talking to some of the staff at the Hatfield McCoy and planning our best route for the day. Of course, I had to have an Alani, get myself hyped up for the day. We were so excited to get out and explore a new area. The Trailhead sells souvenirs and also permits. They also have physical maps you can take with you, information for the Onyx off-road apps, and then any updates that are going on that trail system for that day. So which is super nice to have all conveniently located. Very cool. I got this hat. I needed a new one. We started off our day with a quick road ride to the trail that we were going to for the Devil Anse system. It is never going to get old to me riding down the road in your side-by-side. It is so fun and so cool. Plus, it's just such a cool way to explore all these tiny little West Virginia towns. I love it. I love being in my RZR going down the road, going fast. So having Matewan as an ATV-friendly town is awesome. Also, there's definitely some amazing views you just catch while you're out there riding. We eventually got to the trail, and we were off on our adventure for the day. Now, we were heading to the tunnel on Trail 54, which goes under the King Cole Highway. I had never been in a tunnel in my side-by-side, so that was a very cool experience I knew I wanted to hit. So like I said, that's Trail 54. It goes under the King Cole Highway, just a way to get across the road without having to go over a highway. So it's super cool that the Hatfield McCoy system has all this stuff put in, and all their trails are super well maintained to keep everything in tip-top shape for all their riders. For our time on the Devil Anse today, we spent most of our time riding on blues and greens. I'm not a level black diamond professional side-by-side driver, so I like to just take it chill, enjoy the scenery, check out the views. So for me, those trails were perfect. A lot of switchbacks, a lot of climbing up the mountain, seeing really pretty views. We were just kind of cruising along, definitely some tight corners. Pretty wet day out today also, so there's no dust, but I would prefer the mud over the dust. The views were so good, and at our break, we actually got to take a second to talk to Chris and CE from the Hatfield McCoy system about the evolution of the trails, permits, and how the trail system has really helped out the local economy.
So it used to be, a bunch of quads with a bunch of guys coming down for a couple days, but now, with the four-seaters, you're having families and groups and more people that are able to go down into the community, and so we've seen that.
You sit and think about it. You bring a man and a wife and their two children. It's cheaper to come here and ride all week than versus going to the beach.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Or Disneyland.
Yeah, definitely Disneyland.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever do stickers on the machines, or did you always do permit per person?
It's always been per person. Okay.
Because in Michigan, it's per machine. Right. It makes way more sense to do it on the helmet. I mean, that's what we were thinking when we heard that. Especially because, people usually have their own. But.
And we used to have 1-day passes, 3-day passes, 5-day passes, a week pass. But we did away with all that and just did the annual pass. We lowered the prices. So for the annual passes used to be about $100, but we lowered it and just combined them all.
Yeah.
And it's still really cheap to come here.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. But we've been lucky; we haven't had to raise our prices. So. Which
is crazy, really, because everything else.
Yeah, we're adding trails, more miles, but we want to keep it affordable for everybody.
Very cool.
And we're blessed to be able to continue to do that and not have to raise our prices.
For sure. What's the cost of do you guys do in-state?
We have 2 permits. We have a West Virginia resident permit, which is $26.50.
For the whole year?
Yes, for the whole year. From the time you buy it.
That's kind of crazy.
And then for non-residents, $50.
Yeah. They definitely knew we were out of towners.
You're a veteran.
Yeah, we do offer a military option. So anybody that has served or is serving in the military or has an ID, so like a spouse or family member that has an ID, can purchase the West Virginia resident permit for $26.50 even if you're from out of state.
That's very cool. Dang, we pay, I don't know, $36 plus that other $10 one or something.
Annually or?
And you have to have a state park, so that's $36 plus the other 10 plus the other 10. If you're going to the dunes, it's $50. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Michigan and definitely appreciate all the hard work that goes into maintaining our trails, growing the trails, and legally keeping everything up and running. But I just think the price difference for us going to West Virginia was kind of crazy. One of my favorite things about these trails was going up and down the hills, and like I kind of like hill climbing a little bit when they're not like super crazy steep, so that was really fun. But one thing I don't feel like is talked about, but I definitely talked about in my other video, but I haven't seen other creators talk about it, is when you have a 4-seater, bro, you are not making it around these bends. We probably didn't make it around like 50%. So just keep that in mind when you're going, and then your friends like coming up hot behind you up these hills because they're kind of steep. Random fun fact for you, there are 10 trails in the Hatfield McCoy system, and the Devil Anse Trail we're on today is actually one of the ones that connects. So it connects to the Buffalo Mountain and Rock House trails. Now we're on to berry picking. I saw this on the side of the trail, naturally had to stop. Snack time. Oh, these things are good.
Like them straight off the vine.
No.
I'm sure the bears love them.
Yeah. Who's your favorite animal?
No, I'm not getting out of here.
What's that? Who's your favorite animal?
It's a huge snake.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
Yeah, this is a good viewing point. Okay, yeah, that's cute. Not getting out of the car to film that boy, that's for sure. And if you turn the razor off, the snake's gonna get us. Woo! After the snake encounter, we were back on the trails, headed up to see the legendary goat of the Hatfield McCoy system. The goat lives near the Devil's Backbone, which is on Trail 66 of the Devil Anse system, and I was so excited and honestly didn't believe that the goat was going to be like that friendly and we were really going to be able to like see it and stuff. Like, I'm like, what are the odds, right? Okay, well we did, and it was like so exciting.
Hello.
Oh my God, stop it.
No. Hold on. Let me get your picture.
Hi! Hi!
I know you're ready, aren't you?
That's crazy.
Just West Virginia things. So, what's the goat's name?
Antsy. Oh, what do you think about that?
Hi, girl. Hi. You look more natural in this habitat. From what I've heard, Auntie the goat has been here since before the trails were put in. When they were putting in the trails, they saw the goat like living out here, and she's completely wild and just like hangs out. But she's become so friendly with all the ATV riders and side-by-side riders that come up to see her and visit her. The Devil's Backbone's kind of on the top of a mountain, so we were working our way slowly back down the mountain to head into Matewan for some lunch. Now, these switchbacks were pretty tight, and there's a lot of traffic because obviously seeing the goat is so cool. So just going nice and slow, obviously making sure like you're waiting for someone else to come the other way. We didn't really have any trouble passing anybody. We just had to pull off to the side, and everyone was able to get through. We never had to like reverse or anything like that. While you watch us scenically drive down the trails back to Matewan, I'm going to give you some fun facts I learned from Chris and CE about the Hatfield McCoy trail system. So it was created by the state, it's ruled by the state, but it's not technically a state agency. It is a multi-county economic development authority. So they have a board with representatives from each county. The DNR are the people that manage the safety of the trails and enforce all the rules. And all the trails are on lease agreement land, which is why there can be trail closures at different times from mining and logging at any time for a few months to a few days. So that's why it's important to keep up with the updates at the trailhead to make sure you're going to be on an open trail system. The Hatfield McCoy trail system opened in October of 2000. That was their first year, and they had 3 trail systems. Now, last year, they sold 87,000 permits, which they grow about 10 to 12% every single year, which is literally so crazy, and they've grown so much. Now, I just had to throw in this video because we were getting absolutely just drenched in mud. I feel like my razor, the way that the tires and the fenders are set up, the mud just absolutely covers me all over the place and is flying everywhere, which I don't mind. I just had to document. And we were headed into town. We finally got there to the Trailhead Bar and Grill for lunch, and man, this place was hopping. There were so many side-by-sides, Jeeps, quads, everything. Now, I would highly recommend coming to the Trailhead Bar and Grill if you're coming to Matewan. The food was so good. Those little curly french fries, you gotta try it. Service was great. The menu was great. The food was great. And as you can see, literally a line of like 10 side-by-sides coming in right after we left. It was so cool just to see so many side-by-sides all in one place, but definitely all heading to the Trailhead Bar and Grill because their food is straight fire. Just across the street from the Trailhead Bar and Grill is the Matewan Train Depot Replica and Museum, which has so much town history and literally showed us so many cool things. They also have a little souvenir shop in there with shirts and hats and goodies and stuff like that. Now, Matewan is a super historic town, and I really think this museum did a really good job of laying out all the history that encompasses it. So it talks about the coal, it talks about the railroad system, it talks about the Hatfield and McCoys, and how the majority of the feud was actually taking place in Matewan. We learned so much about the coal industry and how it's evolved and where it started. They also had a very cool train horn. Something else I thought was cool is that the whole town of Matewan has a very intricately detailed flood wall around it to protect it from the flooding of the Tug River, which we got to explore on the Hatfield and McCoy Airboat tour. So I'd never been on an airboat before. I didn't really know what to expect. I was a little nervous, but our guide made it so fun, and you can see those little headsets so he could talk to us and tell us the history about the Tug River, and definitely just got to see it from a different perspective. We all ended up having a blast. We saw tons of wildlife, some deers and birds and stuff like that. We also learned so much about the Hatfield and McCoy feud and actually drove by a lot of the areas where some of the feud took place, which was very cool. Overall, I would definitely recommend hitting up this tour. It took us about an hour, I think, to go on it, which was definitely well worth it. Like a little break from the side-by-side, got to learn so much, and again, you can see the cool flood wall in the back here as we come back into town. So I would definitely check this out if you're going to be in Matewan. Before long, we were back on our side-by-sides, heading out of the town of Matewan, went through the tunnel again under the King Cole Highway, and we were headed off to see the Hatfield Family Cemetery, which is located between the Devil Anse and the Rock House Connector. The cemetery is open to the public, and it's listed on the Hatfield trail maps that they give out. There's parking on the roads. You could come in a side-by-side or in a car, but you do have to hike up kind of a little hill to get up there. I love hiking, but Jack was definitely not excited. This was interesting and cool in the way that you could see the Hatfield Family Cemetery, and the way that you hear about the feud, you hear about all these names and actually see them here on the headstones. We finished our day of adventure here in Matewan, West Virginia by taking the trails back towards town and about to get loaded up and headed back to our Airbnb for the night. We had an amazing day. Our razors got so dirty. We saw so many cool things. We did see a coin car wash in the town of Matewan across from the gas station, and we did get the razors cleaned up just a little bit because we still had a couple more days of riding here in West Virginia, and it's kind of always nice to start your morning in a clean razor. Also, get a layer of dirt off was definitely super nice. So we hit that and headed back to the trailhead to load up. Full day riding here at the Devil Anse Trails in West Virginia. We did a lot of stuff today. We did an airboat tour. We got a tour of the railroad museum that's here, and we rode a lot of trails, saw a lot of cool stuff, did a cool tunnel. I'm sure that it'll all come across, but overall, another amazing day here in West Virginia. Cemetery's freaking me out.